Howdy guys, welcome back to another deck profile. Today we're going to be going over Tool Drop. Now Tool Drop is actually a very strong deck, and what we believe to be a top tier deck. If you were to say tiers 1 through 8, this would be a tier 1 sort of deck, probably in the top 5 decks that we have built. And that might surprise some people because the Tool Drop Trubbish historically isn't very good. You used to play it with, what did you used to play it with? The Sigalith that has a whole bunch of tools on it, Dimension Valley XP shares, to kind of stream Tool Drop. Well, this one isn't really focused necessarily on the Tool Drop attack, but rather getting Garbotoxin out and being able to abuse Garbotoxin. So the cool thing is, you can play both of the Garbotoxins because they are different. They're same ability, same HP, same retreat and weakness, but the attacks are different. So these are two different cards, so you can play them differently. And the idea is to play tools that fall off. So for instance, Bursting Balloon, Klefki, Steam Siege, there's a Mystery Shard, there's Buffer Piece, that sort of thing. So what you do is you'll attach them to Garbodor. On your opponent's turn, they can't use abilities, and then when it comes back to your turn, it falls off, so you're able to use all of your abilities. That's what makes this deck so strong, is the fact that you're locking your opponent out of abilities, and you get to keep yours. Because normally if you'd play Garbodor, or you play like a Hex or a Goop, you're shutting off your own abilities for at least a little bit, right? But this is a one-sided ability lock, and that's why it's so good. It forces your opponent to hit that Windstorm turn after again, and just to like turn your abilities back on. You also can pivot and shut off your own abilities if you needed to. You can put like a Floatstone on there so that you're not trying to find the recovery cards needed. The cool part about Klefki on Garbodor is that there's so many like instant recovery options in the form of like Buddy Buddy Rescue, Pokemon Stretcher, Pokemon Retriever, Time Space Distortion, even stuff like Revive, that sort of thing. So there's tons of recovery options for Klefki specifically that you can put onto Garbodor. So since we play so many tools with this, it's just natural that the Tool Drop Trubbish gets included for those juicy one-shots. So that's why it's called Tool Drop, but it's really in the strength of this Garbodor. Now we're also playing this Entei. Another reason we're playing this Entei is because it does have Alpha or double, whatever it is. You can attach two tool cards to it to boost the damage of Trubbish. Generally, that's all you really need. Is you're going to have 7 max on your side of the field, 140. That's a pretty good number. But you also can attack with Entei if you need to. There are certain situations where this Entei attacking is actually pretty dang good. But mostly you're going to attack with this Trubbish. But it's on there so you can attach 2 tools. We also have Quick and Guard. These are Pokemon that turn into tools, so it just kind of makes sense. There's the Klefki that I was talking about. It will attach itself and then fall off after a turn. It does help against Mega Pokemon if you're playing against a deck that has Mega Pokemon. There aren't a lot, but hey, you never know. And then the rest of these cards are the support Pokemon, I do believe. Yep, that is true. You're running that the 2/2 Porygon line, as always, the 1/1 Claydol line, and then the 4 of Dunsparce, Lapras, Spiritomb, and Hootsie. So if you notice, there aren't that many cards in the deck, or Pokemon in the deck, rather. It gives you more room for more tool cards and more recovery options and that sort of thing. So, moving on, so that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 Pokemon, which is pretty dang low, if you ask me. Moving on to supporters, it's going to be a lot of standard stuff. There is a couple, 1 or 2, like, weird ones, but not overly. You're going to have an AZ here. There's some glare, like always. Dang, I didn't plan this out. Let me try this differently. So you're going to have AZ, you're going to have a Bebe Search, you're going to have Colress, Copycat, all standard looking stuff here. Elisa is one of the only non-standard looking thing here. It searches your deck and grabs 3 tool cards. You've seen it in other decks before that like kind of revolve around tools. So make sure like this basically is just like a plus 60. Plus 60 damage because you're going to attach all those tools, and your Tool Drop Trubbish does more damage. Guzma, staple and everything. You have a Hex Maniac as well. Damage does struggle with this deck, especially if you're attacking with Entei, or you don't have a lot of tools. So Iris is that tool that you need to one-shot them. Karina, pretty staple. Lysander, Lysa's Trump card, also staple. You have Marley's Request, N, and Oracle, all staple stuff so far. Collector, Juniper, Professor Oak's Invention, Professor Oak's New Theory, sorry, Sycamore, Rocket's Admin, Rosie's Research, Skyla, Teammates, and Wally. Pretty standard looking support lineup. You got 7, 14, 21, 23 supporters. So pretty standard there, but we still have a lot of room to work with. A lot of the room in this deck comes from those tools and from the recovery. So that's why there's less Pokemon and less supporters than normal. So speaking of items and recovery cards, moving on here, you're going to see a Bill. Pretty standard pull card there. Buddy Buddy Rescue, as I mentioned, it does help you get that Clef Key back. When we first built the deck, there wasn't a max recovery. We played one game with it, and we were like, okay, we need more recovery options. So while Buddy Buddy is not necessarily the best recovery option in the world, it is one of the top, like, 5, I would say. Computer Search, playing a heavy tool count, so Eco Arm just makes sense. Erica, extra draw power in this deck to kind of blast through your deck. Escape Rope, Evo Soda, 2 staple cards there. Imposter Oak's Invention, we're going to have the Item Finder. Junk Arm, Level Ball, Luxury Ball row. Misty's Wrath, pretty staple. Palpad, also a staple card. Pokemon Communication for Electro Search. There's Pokemon Rescue, another recovery card. Also not necessarily the best, but we play a lot of recovery, so more the better. So these two right here you won't see in a lot of decks, just in decks that want to go like max recovery. So stuff like Gyarados, we'll also see those. Tool Drop will see them. I can't think of anything else specifically that like plays like just a boatload of recovery. Pokemon Retriever here, Professor Oak. Here's Rescue Stretcher as well. You play Rescue Stretcher and Pokemon Retriever. Scoop Up, Super Rod, Swoop Teleporter. There's that Time Space Distortion I mentioned earlier. Ultra Ball, Versus Seeker, and Field Blower / Windstorm. So you notice it's a very staple looking thing with just extra recovery options. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that go back to your hand, plus Super Rod to make it a cool 6 recovery options. So you can keep that Clef Key flowing. You can use your Item Finder and Dowser Machine to either grab Clef Key or some of the tools that you discarded. Oh, excuse me, I am very coffee today. Alright, moving on to stadiums. There's going to be 3 of them. You're going to be looking at a Dimension Valley because second Pokemon are played in this deck. You will still see a broken time space even though you play like a lot of stage 1s. The BTS helps you get that like turn 1 Garbodor if you need to. Or if you go second, you can go Trubbish, Garbodor, Tool, and then they can't put abilities down and it really hinders their start. And then Pokemon Contest Hall. This is basically flip a coin of heads, add 20 damage because it searches your deck for a basic Pokemon and you can attach a tool. So it also helps you grab that Clef Key or the unknowns because they're just going to go straight on as tools. Boop, boop, a bit, boo. Moving on. Ordering some stuff, rearranging some stuff here. Okay, so we are gonna. First, I'm gonna go over the Elite Four. Actually, no, we'll go over that second because it's weird. But tool cards. There's actually a whole bunch. Buffer Piece is one of those cards that is a tool card. So when you attach it and you discard it at the end, it reduces damage by 20. That's at the end of your opponent's turn. After you play Buffer Piece, discard Buffer Piece. So it is one of those tools that will fall off at the end of your opponent's turn to activate Garbo Toxin just on your opponent's turn. Same with Bursting Balloon. It'll only activate on their turn, so you're shutting off items just for one turn. EXP Share, so you can keep those attacks flowing. It's nice to put those on, you can put it on really anything and then swoop into your Trubbish so you can keep attacking. I'll put it on Entei, something like that. Fairy Belt to give you some extra HP. Floatstone and Fluffy Berry, kind of fairly obvious inclusions in terms of the retreat department. You want a tool department, you want those. We're actually going to play both of the Flare tools to add 20 damage to your side. It's a little bit different than most tool decks because, like, for instance, Cofagrigus, you're going to want these in the discard rather than on your opponent's Pokemon, but in Trubbish you want them on the field to add extra damage, so these are just basically plus 20 damage wherever you see them. This is also plus 20 damage plus more, so it's plus 40 damage if it's on the active. Mysterious Shard is another one, just like Buffer Piece, where it does fall off, but it can't, actually, you know what, hold on. I think we messed up on this the first time. Yeah, this actually legitimately can't be attached to your Garbodors. It does fall off, but you can't attach it to your Garbodor because Garbodor is an EX. So we still decided to play it because it is a good thing to keep Trubbish alive. And then Rescue Stretcher to keep Trubbish going. And that's all we have for tools. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, plus your 3, 11, 12, 13, 14, your 3 in the forms of Pokemon because of the 2 unknowns and Clef Key, plus your Ace Spec, woohoo, plot spoiler. So you have 15 tools in the deck. We think that is more than enough. You could cut the Mysterious Shard if you wanted to. I know that there's other stuff that falls off. You just have to make sure that it's not a technical machine. All the TMs do fall off, or most of them do. So you have to make sure it's not a technical machine and it's actually a tool card. But anyways, Bursting Balloon is actually probably the best one that you're going to have, just because you know that it guarantees fall off and doesn't have any downsides to it. Then you're going to look at the Elite Four plus your plus your Ace Spec. You notice there's something missing here. There is no goop in this deck. So there's only Hex but no goop. Reason being is because what did I say? Why is there no goop in the deck? There is like legitimately a reason why there's no goop, and I can't remember it off the top of my head. Shucks. There should be a goop in the deck. I will say that now. When we built the deck, there was no goop, and I had a good reason for it. I can't remember it. If you think there's a good reason for not playing goop, let me know. Grady, if you're watching this, please let me know why there's no goop in the deck. If not, it needs goop. You could probably drop the Mysterious Shard for the goop. That's where I would go. But we are playing a Life Dew. It just kind of makes sense. Like, Dowsing Machine, yes, would be better so that you could grab your Bursting Balloon over and over again. But Life Dew on Trubbish is awesome, especially because this deck does play a lot of tool recovery. It's just kind of a different way of doing things. Plus, you can, late game, you can like throw it on your Garbodor, so that if they ever try to like Lysander KO it, it's only worth 1 prize. It's pretty cool. So those are your Elite Four plus your Life Dew, and then your energy count. We're going to be playing 1 Blend Energy because yes, it's mostly Psychic Energies, but the Fire does take the Entei requirement is there. It's the same reason we were also playing Prism and Rainbow. It's so that you can attack with that Entei if you need to. If you're so scared about using special energies, just change them to Psychics. You know, 1 Mystery Energy for the free retreat on all your Psychic Pokemon, and then you're looking at 3, 6, 9 Psychics, and then 1 Fire. The 1 on Fire is really just for Entei. You know, it can't get Enhanced Hammer off, so that's really the only reason you would play that. But anyways, enough energy. There's more than enough energies. Drop the Mysterious Shard for a Goop Gas attack. And yes, if you have any questions, please let me know. That is the Tool Drop deck. Super strong, super busted combo with using Clef Key and Garbodor together. So yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. Like I said, hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one.